Welcome, everyone, and good evening. Welcome to our first session for our AI QA engineering course. If I did not get to introduce myself in the last session we had, my name is Fayak Chaudhary. I will be one of the instructors for this course. Been going to the QA industry for around 10 years now, working in versatile companies from Fortune 500s to also startups. I'm currently the lead founding Q engineer from my startup, venturing into a lot of AI different technology stacks at the moment. So come with a numerous number of years of experience and definitely a lot of insight into what's going on today in the industry. Since we're also moving with the times. Alongside me, I have my co-instructor as well. Her name is Rihanna. I think she can take it from here.
Thank you, Faik. So, yes, I'm Rihanna, or you can call me Rihanna. That's on you.
Sorry.
Um, it's all right. So, yeah, I'm the other instructor for this program. And yeah, I have actually 12 years plus experience in the software and tech industry. Of that, I have more than 3 years in Samsung R&D. And my longest experience was in an European company called Steve DX. Right now, I'm located in Michigan, and I did a little bit of data analyst job past year. So yeah, that's me. Me and Faik will be with you down the line in the entire program. So I welcome everyone to join this masterclass and afterwards this program.
Thanks, Rihanna. Hope I got it right this time.
Yeah.
So thank you for everyone. So as mentioned, this is going to be a remote course. Me and Rihanna are going to be predominantly based out of the Eastern time zone. I'm based out of New York City. So we will be working in Eastern time zone for this course. We haven't selected a specific day yet. Our plan is to, in the coming weeks, we will let you guys know ahead of time, of course. For now, you can expect us to have 2 days a week, 2 hours each session, so 4 hours a week. We'll plan to finish our curriculum hopefully within 5 to 6 months. Alongside that, you guys will get homework as well as assignments to, in the end, grow your own portfolio that you can eventually share when you guys get to the job market. Okay. So any quick questions while we're here? All right, awesome. So I'm going to go on the basis that everyone's fairly new to tech and maybe even fairly new to the whole concept of quality assurance when it comes to software and software development. So I know everyone's very privy to the concept of AI and AI disruption in the tech industry. And I just want to provide some clarity on that, right? Like, why should you guys even venture into tech at this point? Well, in reality, obviously, AI did cause some disruption, but I feel as if, and I think the industry is also taking note that roles are just evolving with AI, right? AI is here to stay. It's also growing, but the roles are not depreciating. They're not diminishing. They're just going with AI. The expectation is now testing could be done faster. Testing can be done smoother. Testing could be done at a scale level, so larger. But quality assurance is definitely needed. So one piece of clarity I also want to give you guys, when me and Rihanna started in tech, we were also in the same position you guys were in. We were fairly new to tech. We came in, eventually joined a boot camp. I don't want to speak for Rihanna, but I joined a boot camp and then eventually broke my into the market and have now been 10 years running. Right now I am working as a lead and I do manage other QAs as well. So it just to let you guys know that we also share the same ambiguity and uncertainty that you guys are experiencing right now if you should take the course. And we want to reassure you that you guys should definitely go along with it because the future for QA and tech is not really going anywhere. It's just evolving. And this course is going to evolve with it to make you as market ready as possible. Okay. So with that being said, a little bit of background. When I started 10 years ago, you can say there was roles for just something called manual testing. That was your primary job. That was the person who was kind of took ownership of all testing activities when it comes to software development. Now, for anybody who has not heard those terms, we're going to go deeper into them. But the industry slowly evolved where testing kind of everybody takes some level of ownership for testing. Product owners who come up with requirements, they have some ownership of testing too. Software engineers who write the code, they have some ownership of testing too. So testing has evolved, and somehow it's now became the whole team has some ownership of the level of testing before a product gets released to the public. Where does QA fit in that? QA still has majority ownership, but now with the introduction of AI, a lot of the repetitive tasks, such as automation testing, CI/CD pipelines, scheduled jobs, a lot of those jobs can be handled by AI. But there's still a lot of context and business and complex requirements that AI won't always have, that eventually you can train it to have, but that's where the human aspect comes in. I want to first start off by sharing this article with you guys to talk about this real quick. Hope everyone can see my screen. Excellent. So will AI replace QA engineers by 2030? The future of the testing profession. This is a great article written by Yuri Khan, who has a numerous amount of experience specifically in the AI testing space. And the AI testing space is relatively new. Not all of us have that much experience in it. A lot of us are now dabbling in it in our work days because that is the biggest and hottest trend and topic. Yuri has been in the AI industry, specifically in the testing space, for going on 7 years now. He wrote this really cool article just giving some statistics on where is the QA role going towards? What are we headed towards? In the end of the day, I want to let everyone know when it comes to tech, it's not as straightforward as other jobs. It's a career that regardless is when you break in and how you break in, and with the skill sets you break in with, it's still gonna evolve. That means you still have to stay up to speed with the hottest trends. AI is here now. Automation and testing, Selenium was here 20 years ago. So there's always going to be some trend that's coming up in the tech industry that you will have to eventually learn, right? For now, your main focus is breaking into the market with what the hottest tech stack, which we have now, is, AI as well as automation testing. But to showcase to you guys what AI can do right now, what are we looking at? Companies using AI in testing, 42%. Test automation coverage, 38%. AI generated test cases, 18%. A lot of statistics around repetitive tasks. AI can help us now speed that up at a scale, which somebody is going to be responsible for implementing, creating. This is not going to happen just prompting an AI chatbot to go and build something for you, and it's going to work effectively. It's going to take some levels of testing to also get there. But once it's there, the AI could be trained. Where you guys come in is understanding that this is out there. AI is going to help us do that. In this course, we're going to cover that. We're going to show you and teach you how can AI take some of the repetitive tasks that QA is responsible for and make it quicker. So therefore, QAs can focus on other things. So one thing over here, as you can see, AI excels at pattern recognition, test generation, data creation, execution optimization, knowing when to run specific tests, bug prediction, a lot of repetitive stuff. Very intricate and still very important to the software development lifecycle and to our QA industry as a whole. But AI struggles with the human aspect, understanding context, grasping business logic nuances, understanding the application. Every application is somewhat different. Also, every software development team follows very high-level rules, but everyone does it a little bit different. Because of that nature, the AI can't predict all of that without it being told. So there has to be some human aspect to understand that, grasp all that, do it in the beginning, and eventually get AI to learn it. That's where we're coming in, and that's where AI is not taking anything from us. It's expanding on what we could have done before. We'd have to do all of this. We'd have to write all the code out. We have to generate all the tests, execute, understand all that. AI is going to alleviate us of all that so we can focus on quality releases, edge case creativity, finding the harder test cases, really trying to break the platform, finding flaws, and then eventually getting the AI to learn that as well, okay? So the replacement myth is, in my opinion, a myth. And this whole concept of replacing specifically QA has not happened yet, right? There has been a pause, and people have heard of layoffs and stuff, but hasn't impacted the QA industry. The QA industry has evolved. There's still a lot of QA jobs out there, still paying a lot of money for it. But this course is to get you guys foolproof. This course is to get you guys relevant for what the QA means today, which means doing the same level of QA work that we normally do, having the same skill set that all QAs currently have, in conjunction with artificial intelligence, or what I like to use, augmented intelligence, utilizing AI as a coworker, as a helper. Okay. Now, with that change, there has been some new AI QA roles, AI test strategist, AI model validator, and this is really more in the specific AI space. We are not going to be covering all this in this course specifically, because this is a different extension of it, but just to show you guys that there's other roles coming with the introduction of AI. AI is just like anything else in life. There's change. As doors close, windows open, other opportunities come up. This is to show you guys, hey, you guys can break into the market, and in the real world, you might be using machine learning models, testing different LLMs, that eventually you guys could qualify for these type of positions as well. Test intelligence engineer. This is really still in the AI itself, understanding the model. This course is focused on web application testing with AI, using AI to generate mass amounts of web automation projects, using AI to handle DevOps, utilizing AI to also generate agents, and implementing and using agents in your local machine to do testing, analysis, reporting, all the stuff QAs are doing today in conjunction with AI. That's where we come in. These are the evolving traditional roles. This is what's covered in this course. Manual testers now are evolving. Automation engineers are evolving. Test leads, performance testers. Those are the roles that we're going to cover in this course, letting you guys know that's not going anywhere. And then also letting you guys know there's other roles that are coming with the introduction of AI. All right. So I thought this was a little cool article I want to share with you guys. Does anybody have any questions or concerns at the moment? Can't really see anything on my end.
Hey, I have a quick question.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm already working in QA since last 15 plus years, doing both manual and automation.
Awesome.
So, I mean, I'm just trying to upskill myself to utilize the AI tools, as you mentioned, to help do the repetitive tasks and still be relevant in the current job market. So I just want to understand if this course or will be applicable to me, or is it like more basic? You start from the actual SDLC or all that, so which I don't think I need, but I'm currently only here to see if I can use the AI tools to leverage or utilize them to grow in, still be, like I said, still be able to get some secure my job.
Of course. And I'm completely there with you. Yeah, I think this course is perfect for you. As mentioned, yeah, we are gonna gear this towards beginners, but we're gonna ramp up very quickly with AI. So the whole course is to say, hey, we're gonna still be doing some manual testing, but how can AI help us with that? And then at some point, I think it was Minnie who was speaking.
Yes.
At some point, we do want to implement, I'm not sure if you heard of something called MCP servers inside of our local machines, where we will have AI agents kind of doing the testing for us. Okay. So these are all relevant skills in the industry today. The one thing is we do have to start at the beginning for some of the beginners to introduce them to SDLC, manual testing, SQL, REST API, just for like understanding purposes from a conceptual perspective. But then we're going to ramp up very quickly into utilizing AI, automation testing, Playwright, CI/CD, all the other stuff. But the sole focus will be AI helping us do that. And then our end goal is to eventually have a whole local machine set up with an MCP server where I can literally go into a CLI and saying, hey, here's a web page, go and create me manual test. Then use my Playwright project, go and automate those tests for me using the agent. So I think that's very relevant to your career right now, because that's where also a lot of people, I'm sure your industry and your team also wants you to go towards also, right? How can you use AI to write more code? How can you implement the code? And then eventually, how can we use the AI to actually, do exploratory testing, or execute test cases that you already written. You write them, have the AI execute them, and report on them. So all those things will be highlighted and taught in this course. So I think it's very relevant for you as well as beginners.
Okay, so just one more
Of
question.
course,
So,
yes.
the beginner coverage. So is it like 20% beginner and remaining? Like, I just want to understand how much.
Yeah. So let's just say this. We're gonna do, let's say from the beginning, we're gonna start off with SDLC, right? We'll probably do SDLC one session, and then two session we might do SQL, and then we're gonna go straight into prompt engineering, understanding prompt engineering, understanding how to use different AIs, and then relating that to manual testing. Okay, I know SDLC, I know how to write test cases. How can the AI help me understand these requirements and then generate test cases for me? That'll be the surface level. Then we're going to go straight into automation testing, right? Using Playwright, writing, using Python, creating a project. But we're going to use AI to help us write all that code out. Eventually, and when I mean eventually, I mean within at least by the third month of the course, you can say, we're going to start using AI agents, right? Having AI agents built into our actual laptop and then have them do some of the things that we did in the past. We do have to introduce those beginner topics, though, conceptually. But I'm not going to focus so much. We're going to focus. I don't want to say we're not going to focus. We're not going to stay stuck on them for so long. So for like SDLC, I'm not going to spend 2 hours just teaching SDLC.
So you want to quickly cover the basics of QA so that who are coming into, who are new to QA can quickly ramp up, and then you move into the AI
space. Yes. How can AI now help us do what you just learned?
Sounds good. Okay. Thank you.
Sounds good. Okay, great. I think we have another question. I don't use any automation in QA career till now, and no coding experience will the learning curve. Okay, so that's a great question, Mr. Deepak. It's a great question. So will the learning curve be too steep? I don't think so. In the end of the day, guys, we will teach, obviously, Python is going to be our language of choice from beginning. Are we going to move fast? We're going to move pretty fast with it. Because in the end of the day, we need you guys to understand the concepts. So Mr. Deepak, yes, you have to put in some effort in this course to learn the concepts that we teach you. AI can still help you write the code and also teach you some things that you might have forgotten, or that any errors you might come up when you're writing code or implementing code. So the learning curve is not going to be steep. I think it'll be somewhat maybe a little bit roadblock in just the beginning to learn some of the concepts. But after one session of actually writing some code and learning how to prompt AI to also generate code and use that and learn how to implement it, learn how to read through it, you should be good. It's not going to be that steep. It's going to be more just a little bit high, a little bit difficult getting up to the let's say, axis point. But after that, it'll be all, what's the saying? All downhill from there. But that does bring me back to one thing. In the end of the day, guys, this course, it's still a course, right? Me and Rihanna, we're going to be there for you guys in any way possible. We're going to be accessible. We're going to provide resources. We're going to answer questions. If you guys want to do more review sessions, we're going to do that. But we also need you guys to do your part, right? Do the homework. Ask questions constantly, right? Put in the effort, put in the time, so then we can both meet at the halfway point for us to help you guys on what you guys need. We won't know what you guys need if you don't tell us. So there's an expectation of you guys as well to be good students and do the assignments and do the work we expect you to do. Therefore, we can help you whenever you guys need. Okay? And that goes for everybody. Alrighty. Great. Any other questions? Everything else? Okay, one more quick question. Will there be machine learning data? Okay. So great question. So yes, we're not going to be covering machine learning in this course. Okay. The machine learning would be a little bit too steep. We might offer that maybe later in the near future. For this course, there will be no machine learning and data analysis. We're going to learn, obviously, SQL and how to interact with databases, JSON, and generating different data. But from data analysis and machine learning, we're not going to be doing in this course. Okay, we're going to be using we're not going to be creating LLM models. We're going to be using pre-existing models. Claude Code, Copilot, ChatGPT. They have models that we're going to use their models to do our testing activities.
Can I add something here? Like,
Yes, of course.
we
Yes.
are going to teach them the validation things, like the recommendation system, which is an example of ML system, right? So if we make them understand the validation of that kind of process, so they'll get a hint of how to do similar systems, do the same thing on similar systems, right?
Yes, 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 yeah. Ryan is right. But there's going to be introduction of it, but not to the extent of what you're thinking. So you're going to be okay. Okay. Any other questions?
One more question, Farik. So do you have the
Yes.
curriculum for this course somewhere on?
Yes, this is the curriculum. I was going to go over that right now, but yes, we can.
Okay.
You guys will get access to this. So let's see what things we will be covering. QA foundations, prompt engineering, straight into it, right? We want you guys to start using some sort of chatbot to help us do our activities. Programming fundamentals. This was the other question we had for Mr. Deepak. Session module 2 will go straight into Python, right? Then we're going to start doing the manual testing with AI assisting exploratory testing. How can we take requirements and use LLM models to help us generate test cases? Over here, we will also introduce agents, and understand how to do also, now they have a lot of tools, really. They have something called Agent Browser, which is a browser specifically for AI agents to go and do testing, create test cases. So we'll be introducing that. Then we'll go into the web automation, creating our first Playwright project. At this point, we should be comfortable with Python. Mainly we should be comfortable with using AI, but knowing Python concepts, we can now generate actual code and implement it in our local machine and create a project. Okay, so you can see the pattern that AI will be assisting on all the activities that we're doing. In the web web test automation with AI, we'll also be introducing the MCP server concept, right? Which is a middle layer between AIs and browsers. So I'll be introducing that and actually building one inside of our local machine. With that, eventually we'll get to SQL API testing, intelligent validation using AI, and then CI/CD, performance testing, and in the end, as you can see over here, testing AI and machine learning systems. It's the last module in the course, and this goes back to what Rihanna said. We all will be introducing some machine learning systems, introducing how some testing is done on it, but it's not going to be the focal point of the course. It's to also show you guys those other jobs I mentioned, those other roles that are coming up that really focus on testing LLMs, large language models, and machine learning systems. So also give you guys exposure to that as well. Throughout this, we want to be creating projects, right? We also want to create some sort of Git repo for us, a portfolio for us that we can actually share in our resumes. Okay, this goes a little bit deeper into everything. I don't want to go into everything right now, but I'll share this with you guys as well. But it goes into the modules and everything we plan on doing and covering with you guys. Okay, but the table of contents really summarizes everything that we want to cover. Any questions?
Hi, I have a question. I never worked on this field. So is this course
Yes.
okay for me?
Yes, this goes back to the question we had before. Even for beginners, this course is very relevant. We're going to start as if you don't know anything, and then we're going to teach you using AI. So yes,
Okay.
you'll be covering all that stuff. Now,
Okay.
with that being said, can it be challenging? Of course it can be challenging. I'm just hoping that we're going to provide all the learning material, all the resources, any recordings and sessions you guys will have access to. You can rewatch and whenever time you need. But I also want you to be prepared. You will have homeworks, right? You'll have to put in maybe 2 to 4 hours a week outside of the class to study, right? Just like anything else. I'm not saying you're going to have to start studying 2 to 4 hours a week at the beginning of the course, but maybe eventually things will get a little complicated that you will need to. What I can guarantee you is me and Rihanna will be there to answer any questions or any concerns that you'll have.
Yes, I have the previous classes. I mean, I believe in my LMS, so I can just look at them. Okay, got it. Yes, thank you so much for that.
No problem, no problem. Yeah, go through them, but definitely any concerns or any questions you have, what I tell all students is just start writing them down. Start writing them down, getting used to that, staying organized, and then bringing it back to us so then we can, give you answers and provide further clarity. Okay?
Yes, thank you so much.
All right, no problem. Okay, awesome. So it looks like we got a mixed batch, which is great. Some beginners, some experience, some new to coding, some knows coding. You're using and installing a laptop's desktop system requirements. All right, great question. What tools will we be using? So the one thing is, all of the tools we're going to be using are going to be open source tools, meaning they're going to be free. Okay? Where it gets a little tricky is when we get to the web automation testing part of the course in Module 4, Module 5, anything we do in our laptops, if some of you guys are familiar with this, what we call our local environment, is going to be free of cost. Okay? So our whole course is to teach you guys everything free of cost. If we need to use some cloud servers and we feel like we need to, we're going to try to avoid that. There might be some cost, okay? Our game plan is to avoid that. If we can learn everything doing it in our local, and we can demonstrate how it is on a cloud server, which is relatively the same thing ideally, everything will be free. As for the tools we're going to be using, some of the tools I don't want to go into everything right now. Some of the tools we will be using will obviously be the Playwright library. Right? Playwright is going to be our main tool for web test automation. We will be using PostGRE SQL and pgadmin for some SQL data validations. Okay? If we do once we introduce machine learning, and if we do any data visualizations introductions, we're also going to be using Pandas or NumPy. Again, free tools. Okay? So that's some of the tools we're going to be using. You can say Playwright. We're going to use some sort of IDE, integrated development environment. We haven't decided yet where we're going to start executing our code. Me and Ryan will figure that out, but we will have some sort of IDE that everybody will use to actually write and execute code and store the project. And obviously, we'll also be using Git to store our repositories, and Git will also be free. But the main things you can foresee us using: Playwright, PostGRE SQL, pgadmin, Postman for REST API to start off with. Okay. System. There are no requirements for laptops or specifications. Any laptop would do. We're not going to be utilizing that much space, so you should be good to go. Hopefully, you have free space, so your laptop not super slow, because a lot of the work we will be doing is going to be in our local machine. Okay. Those agents we talked about, we're going to be running them locally. All right. And then we'll obviously get into more details as we get throughout the course. So for some people, if some of this terminology is new, don't worry. You will eventually learn the words and terminology as we get deeper into the course. Okay. I hope that answers your question, Mr. Mohammed. Okay, I'm gonna take that as a yes. Any other questions? All right, awesome. Is it 16 weeks? Are the classics live or recorded? 16 weeks. I don't think it's 16 weeks, really. I think our game plan is to do minimum 20 weeks, right? We're trying to do minimum 5 months, 4 weeks in a month, give or take. But it could extend it to 6 months. So it could extend to 24 weeks max, minimum 20 weeks. Mr. Deepak, are the classes live? The classes will be live and recorded. You are expected to attend the live class. The recording is a fallback, just in case you miss something, just in case you need to go back. That's what the recordings are for. You'll have access to it anytime. We stress all students must attend the live class. I get it. Sometimes, things come up, life comes up and you can't make it. That's understandable. But do not depend on the recordings, okay? Depend on the live classes. The recordings are to assist you if there's any gaps that you might have forgotten during the live class. All right, Mr. Deepak? Hope that answers your question. Okay, I think that's it. So again, I will share this curriculum with you guys. Whoever you spoke to in Transfotech will eventually share this with you. So no worries on that. I'm going to send you guys this article right in the chat if you guys want to take a look. So this is the first session. The first session is basically the introduction session, guys. All right. Introductory session. Normally, hold on one second, guys. Normally, our classes will be 2 hours. Normally, our classes will be 2 hours long. These are the introductory sessions for all students. And for some students who are still not willing to, not to say willing to, but still want to just kind of sit in on the class before they make a decision, this is really for them and everybody. So that's why these next 2 sessions are going to be just 1 hour. Then after that, once we cover just the first 2 topics, then it'll actually start once we have everyone's enrolled and we have the official sign off to go and start. Then we'll be doing 2-hour sessions 2 times a week. Again, obviously, we'll let you guys know ahead of time. And just give me 1 second. Okay. Now, again, my PowerPoint slides right now, this is just a general slide. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make a nicer one. I promise you, usually they're going to be a lot nicer than this. Okay? A lot nicer than this. But this is just something I can bring up to show you guys and kind of talk about where we're starting, right? And why we're heading here. So I know this, again, for many, this is going to be relatively, for people who have been in QA, this is what some of you guys should already know. But, manual testing. Eventually, when the idea of testing started, it started with obviously, software development, and there was issues found. And the main purpose of testing is to provide quality, right? The whole thing, guys, is in software, as you guys are aware of, there are something called releases, releasing new features. The long run, the main thing is people are trying to make their product better constantly, right? Since we're constantly making changes, we're constantly adding more and more code. There are a lot of factors to why there could be issues, a lot of factors. Code could break a lot of things, especially in an application when the code base is very large, very extensive, right? We have multiple people adding to it and contributing to it. So that's why QA is here. QA's main job is to provide quality. Take that back. Is to assure quality. What our users are signing up for is what they're getting. We're trying to provide them a seamless experience using this software. Software is any application. On your phone is a mobile application. That's mobile software. We're going to be talking about web applications used on the internet. So on a browser. So like Facebook, Amazon, Google, whatever different types of applications you use on a browser is what we're going to be testing. Okay. So manual testing is intricate because it's minimal coding, right? It's minimal coding, and it's going to stay minimal coding. When we introduce manual testing with AI, it's going to stay minimal coding. Our whole purpose when it comes to manual testing is going to be finding flaws. When we release features to the public, our users, there's a monetary aspect behind it, right? If I design a website and I have someone paying for the website and I tell them the website does XYZ and they pay me and it doesn't do XYZ, that causes problems, right? That means I'm not delivering on what I'm selling. That's why testing is critical. Now, that's not always the point of the people selling the software. That really comes down to the software development teams, right? The teams are the ones who build the software, and therefore they're the ones who are responsible for delivering the software. I'm introducing testing right now. The next one we're going to go into the next session, we're going to talk about the software development. QAs right now are focused on the manual testing, different types of testing techniques. What I want to get to you guys is when we think of testing, we think of finding issues, right? We think of finding bugs, and we need to continuously think like that. That has to be the focal point of testing. This is what the application is supposed to do. And I'm going to find different ways to make sure it does not do what it's supposed to do. That is our role as a somewhat manual tester for now. Why is that? because we don't know what users could do on a regular basis. We're not sure. And we need to account for as many edge cases as possible. So there's different testing techniques we can do to ensure this. We start off with some positive and negative testing. If someone tells you, hey, I have this feature and this is how you're supposed to work, something as simple as logging in, testing that manually would actually meaning trying to log in. But we need to account for all different sides of it. That's where positive and negative testing comes in. That's usually the first layer of testing. You get some sort of task, right, that says, hey, we're going to build this that does XYZ. Your first intuition be like, all right, let me see if it does XYZ. A lot of times you will find issues from negative testing. But what I want to drill into you guys is negative testing is looking for a negative result. You're looking for a negative result. You're trying to break it. You're causing an error. You're trying to find error messages, okay? QAs are still doing positive and negative testing. They're still generating test documentation. So all that stuff we still got to do, because in the end of the day, new features are constantly still coming. AI might have caused a disruption on how we do our day-to-day, but in the end of the day, companies are not stopping from creating new features, right? They're not saying, oh, hey, AI is here, let me take a pause. The roadmap, the work still continues. So since there are new features, there's going to be new development, and therefore there's going to be new testing. We will also see how AI will help us create positive and negative testing. But we first got to know what it is, okay? Positive testing as a task is stated to do. Those steps should meet that outcome. Negative, different steps should be the negative outcome. So this is giving you guys some of the beginners insight into what a QA really does what a QA is really responsible for. Then we get into some other layers. Eventually, there is what we call different iterations, okay? If you think about it, when we release features, let's say your iPhone, I'm sure everyone here is using an iPhone or an Android, some sort of cellular phone, and they get updates. These updates now are on the mobile side, but they follow the same concept as any other feature. That means the company is releasing some new features. Now, it doesn't always intend to new features, but what you can think of it as, the company is releasing new code for the end user. So you got an alert on your phone, you got to update your phone because they're giving you actual new code into your phone. You're never going to see it, but it's there. You might see some new features, you might get a better experience, but that's the end goal for what they want. They want you to have a better experience. They saw your feedback. They might have thought of different ideas, but they're here to serve the end user because in the end of the day, we're using the product. We're literally financing the company. Apple's making products. We got to be happy. If we're not happy, we're not going to buy Apple products. So the software development team has to make sure, they're releasing features to keep us happy. So the end user is usually going to be the person, who's going to dictate the quality of releases. But why that comes for us is because that comes into other types of testing. As you guys know, you guys don't only get one update to your Apple iOS or Android, all right? You might get a few throughout the year. So that means there is constant change into the end user experience. So that means there's going to be different levels of testing, guys. Okay? In the beginning, it might be positive and negative, but it falls into other different buckets that I have highlighted over here. There's a lot of different testing terminology, guys. There is a lot. Do I expect you to know all of them? That is not the case. Some of them you do need to know. These are some of the ones you do need to know because these are common ones, right? These are some common ones. But when we add the word testing behind something, you can think of it as we're checking. When you're testing, it's saying, hey, I'm checking to make sure that however this was built, whatever was the actual, what we call requirements to build this, they meet. So if someone said, hey, I want this to run, I want this to have this do all these different features. No, I'm not using a good example. because I'm trying to stay away from a login example. But if I want to build something and I intend it to work a certain way, after it's built, it should work that way. That's our job, is to make sure it works the way it was intended, the way it was built. Now, where these testing levels come in, or these testing techniques come in, is that eventually, guys, we have a product that's built. It's not really the case where you join a company and you're going to build a new product from scratch. Which also could be a possibility, but most likely you're going to have some sort of product in the industry today that people are using. So that's where I meant different releases happen. As in Apple, they give you multiple releases throughout the year, updating your software, updating your experience. That's what every other company is trying to do. They're trying to make the experience better. They're trying to keep their clients and their customers happy so the company could make money. Therefore, we need to do different levels of testing. We release new features, we might have to do regression testing. We got to make sure the old features still work, right? Smoke testing. We're going to go a little bit deeper into that in the next session. But smoke testing is we have little changes, right? Someone released some new code, and we got to make sure things aren't broken. Hey, you released some new code. You didn't break the whole application. QA is responsible for that. Functional testing. These are small units. I like to put functional testing with requirements. When you have new features, hey, we're creating a new feature. We created a new, hey, you could think of, we're adding a new chatbot into our software, where now you can go and chat with the chatbot. That new feature is a functional test. And then end-to-end testing entire workflows. Now, these are different test cases. They do start off with these positive and negative tests. So eventually you get some sort of task. And from that task, you can break down to multiple different tests. Then you need to categorize these tests. After categorizing, eventually we have to know, when do we execute these tests? In the beginning, yes, we'll be executing positive and negative to make sure things are working and to meet the release. But after the feature is released, the tests don't disappear. The tests stay there. They just get executed at what we call different iterations of our life cycle. All right. Now, a lot of these things right now, it's terminology, things I want to just give you guys exposure to. So some people who are new, but these things will also come back when we get to the automation side, because then eventually, think of this. AI's, like you and me might know what a regression test is. AI is not going to know. We're going to have to be explicit. We're going to have to categorize, hey, this test is a regression test. Hey, my agent, go and run my regression test. So we'll be responsible in dictating, hey, we have these 50 test cases. Which ones are regression? Which ones are smoke? Which ones are functional? Do they overlap? All those different type of things. Discussions are going to happen amongst the QAs as well as the other team members. And that all goes back to ensuring quality. Eventually, we just want to write code and execute tests after code is deployed. Okay? So these are concepts we want to bring up now to get you guys aware of what's going on. All right? I know this isn't the greatest PDF, and I assure you I have better. I'm sorry about that for today. But any questions so far? Okay. So this is basically where we're kind of going to stop today. As mentioned, these next few sessions are going to be 1 hour long. We're going to have some Q&A in the end. But we want to introduce the concepts, get you guys familiar with the terminology. We're also going to, if need be, I can also share some of the work, some of this documentation with you guys, so you guys can read up on it before the next session. All of this will come back eventually when we get to automation also. Okay? In the beginning, it's going to seem very straightforward. This is what a test is. This is how I test. Awesome. Very straightforward. Just keep that in mind that, hey, this whole thing I'm doing as a human, I need to also be able to imitate with code. Because if I can do it with code, AI could read the code, right? AI can understand the code and work off the code. Ironically, AI is also going to assist us on writing the code as well, too. So it's a two-way street. All right, so any questions before I stop here, guys? Okay, cost of the course. Is that what you? Yeah, that's not really my realm. So this is the cost of the course you're going to have to discuss with your point of contact from Transfotech. This is, we're just the instructors to teach the course. The cost will be done with Transfotech. Okay, Deepak, so you can reach out to your point of contact. That goes for anybody else here as well. All right. So for the beginners, guys, we're going to keep it simple in the beginning for sure. It's going to ramp up very quickly. Okay. For some of the intermediates and people who are already in the industry, don't be alarmed. We have to start off somewhere because, as you heard, some people are new to the actual industry. So they need to know what these things are. But again, we're going to ramp up quick. And everything will be relevant to what QAs are doing today to adapt this new AI and this new AI life that we live in right now, right? It's just not QA, right? I also want to let you guys know AI is not just impacting QA, AI is impacting the whole industry. Product owners, software engineers are highly impacted by QA, right? Like software engineers write a lot of code, but AI could write a lot of code. It's just hard for AI to always do the level of testing that QAs can do. So we definitely want to teach you guys to be good QAs and manual testers and finding issues. I'm going to practice that, but then also be technical QAs that can talk like an engineer, work with different architectural engineering perspectives and concepts that they apply, and then utilize that in our own code as well as AI, right? Learning how to utilize AI to help us do all this stuff because software engineers are doing the same thing. Nobody is, to be frank with you, I don't know most people who are sitting there and writing code line by line anymore. Most people are using some level of AI to generate code for them. But we need to know the concepts, how to write code, what do these things mean, and other stuff that you guys will be taught, and then practicing will solidify that. Okie dokie. So great.
One question.
Yes.
Yeah. So at the once the course is completed, do you help with the resume support? Like, do you help us in building our resume?
Yes, 100%. I should mention that. Once the course is finished, you guys will move into some interview prep. Will be done probably by me and Rihanna. And then Transfotech will do your resume preparation and market preparation for you. I think Transfotech will also be applying some sort of technical recruiter to help you all for jobs and applying and things of that nature. But yes, they will do resume preparation. Mine's and Rihanna's job. Rihanna's job is to make sure, we're doing enough work where you can have a nice portfolio that you can talk about also and put on your resume as well.
So you mentioned about the capstone project, right? Like the portfolio, like are we building one project or at the end, or is it like multiple mini projects? Or
I believe we're doing a few, Rihanna.
Yeah, I suppose in my other batch, what I did, I break the whole big project into pieces, like for the UI part and the API. So we can do that way, or we can do completely independent, separate projects for different modules.
But it's going to
We
be
haven't
end to end.
finalized. Yeah,
Yeah.
of
The
course.
capstone is going to be end to end of everything, but throughout the course, we'll be doing mini projects.
mini projects. Okay.
Great questions. Okay, anybody else? All right, so great session, guys. Transfotech will reach out. I think we're going to do one more 1 hour session. Again, this is to let some of the students get a little introduction of how the classes are going to go, ask any questions, see me and Rihanna's teaching style, and then eventually we'll start off with, to be honest, I think Python, but we'll see. We'll start off with something, but we're going to cover some of the basics first, don't worry. Today, I want to cover some more stuff. Unfortunately, the questions, which is understandable, the questions and reviewing the curriculum and talking about the QA industry took a little bit more time than I expected. But no worries, we're still ahead from where we want to be. So Transfotech will reach out to you guys for the next session.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. There are no questions. We will stop here. Hope everyone has a good night. Thank you. Thank you, Rihanna, for joining.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
See you later.
Yeah, you too.